Yes, guys, how's it going? So we're going to get straight into it. In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn your coaching business into a money-making machine that still changes lives. So what I mean by a money-making machine is taking your coaching business away from the linear one input equals one output, one thing that you do equals one amount of returns, and taking it more to the point where we are generating different assets as we continue to operate inside your business. We find assets that work, that turn traffic into leads, then customers, then clients, long-term clients, how we can lock those into your ecosystem and then have that rolling in the background so you can literally make sales in your sleep. I've got a couple of examples that I'm going to run you through of people that are doing this literally just last week. And in this video, we have a lot to cover to go into this exact thing. But before we start, let me go into kind of the problem that a lot of people face here. If I can move this mirror board around enough. So here's the problem with most coaches, right? They are operating on a one-to-one linear relationship from input and output. It might be that they send one message, right? It might be one outbound message or something like that. And then they get one lead or someone coming through and they can then potentially sell that person, right? That's great. And we all start like that. But eventually, that can't scale as well as what I'm going to be able to show you today because it's a linear one-on-one relationship, meaning that when you stop doing the thing or when a team member stops doing the thing, the outcome that you're trying to get stops. Or it might be you post one post and then that generates some leads and that might come through and get you some sales. Again, that's great, right? But once that post is done, a lot of the time, coaches are moving on to the next thing. What's the next thing that I can do to try and get more leads and more sales? And they're constantly on this hamster wheel of having to create new things and having to do these linear relationship, one input to try and get that one output. And eventually, there is only so much that we can actually put in with our own time to get the output out. So it's very hard to grow past a certain level. So like I said, in this video, I'm going to go through how we can actually create assets that build leverage into the business so we can find these things that are actually working already, that are actually creating sales already, and we can lock them into the ecosystem so it can continue to make our sales while we're sleeping and while we're off doing other things as well. Even that example of the post, if a post has worked well, how can we actually take that asset and start to use that, put it into some sort of automated ecosystem so it can continue to make us money, bring people into the program, and we can focus our time on actually coaching those clients so the flywheel can continue. Because the problem is when there's this input-output one-on-one, one-to-one linear relationship, the business stops when you do. If you start to take your foot off the ball or you get off the hamster wheel for a little bit, then everything in the business stops. And I've spoken to so many coaches that are in this position and they are just overworked, they're exhausted, and they are constantly anxious and afraid to actually be able to take any time off. And it's probably not the freedom that we got into this for in the first place. Or they end up building an inefficient team because you're probably thinking, well, you can just get team members to do that. But it's still, when we have that one-to-one linear relationship, it's an inefficient team because we are paying people to then do this thing that isn't based on leverage when we can just utilize leverage and still have team members in there as well. So they build an inefficient team, it eats up profits and adds a huge amount of complexity and a huge amount of stress that eventually, I've seen this before, most people get to the point where they just hate that experience as well. And when we're not liking what we're doing, things tend to come crashing down around us. So overall, people end up all over the place, building random stuff all over the place, like creating something here, creating something there, basically throwing shit at a wall and hoping that something sticks. Posting and hoping every week, right? So coaches are waking up, posting onto Instagram or whatever it might be, and just kind of hoping that something comes of it and hoping that they find a good post that ends up getting leads and sales like they did before. And they don't really have any long-term strategy or ability to optimize a long-lasting process. And that's huge. If you haven't got an ability to create and optimize a long-lasting process in your coaching business, that can stand the test of time, then you're just waking up every day and hoping what you do that day, or going into every week and hoping what you do that week gets you clients. And then you start it again next week, and you start it again next week. And there's no long lasting things being built out that can continue to build the business while you sleep. So it's exactly what we're going to be going into today. But before we do, I just want to show you that I'm not just like, just speaking theoretically here. And I'm not just saying shit that sounds good. This is literally working. This is literally just last week. I'm not sure if I can prove that it was last week without getting my phone up, but I'm recording on my phone. But this was literally just last week. Actually, there's one little date here that will show. But just last week, Owen put this into the wins chat, made his first automated sale with the things that we're about to talk about here and the things that we're about to set up. He made his first automated sale. It's only small, one automated sale, right? But one automated sale, especially out of the amount of traffic that he sent to the ecosystem that this came from, because it wasn't very many, is a very, very good sign, because that means if there's something that's being able to get even one automated sale, it means that if we can drive volume to that system, then more automated sales are going to come. Then we've got Tom over here, right? I'm just going to slow down a little bit and actually read through this. Built a new sales page and automated email system yesterday and already got a sale on my micro offer. Barely any data at all, but exciting that it's a 50% conversion so far. That's obviously not going to continue. If it stayed at 50%, he'd be a very, very, very rich man. And it won't, pretty much. But out of the two people that ended up in this system, one's already bought, which is huge, right? And again, one sale at the moment, right? One micro offer sale, and I'm going to explain what that is in a second. But that means that he's got a system now that more people go through without any extra time and effort on his side. He can continue to get these micro offer sales. And if that 50% conversion rate did stick, he'd be a very, very rich man. But realistically, it won't. And as he says here, because he knows the vision, he knows the system, if this works, it gets very exciting as the next step is ads, which is very, very right to say, because that's exactly it, right? If we've got a system that's working, it just benefits from traffic. So then we've got all the different ways that we can drive traffic, which I'm going to go through in this video, to actually be able to drive traffic to that thing. But here's the funny part, right? So I was asleep by this point. Well, probably wasn't asleep, but I wasn't on WhatsApp. 10 p.m. he sent that. And then look, very next day, today, this is all in one screenshot, 7:58. I woke up to both these messages at one go. And I've woken up to the guy who bought the micro offer saying he loved it and asked to join the full program. And I know afterwards he did actually join the full program, which I think off the top of my head is at least £400 recurring revenue added onto his bottom line. This was in a matter of hours, right? One little sleep. He was able to sell this micro offer. I may as well explain it now. Micro offer is a small part of your core offer taken out and sold for a small amount of money. And it's really good to actually generate sales. He's taken that, he's automated the process of selling it. Someone's bought it automatically. And then look, while he was asleep, because this guy's probably not in the UK, while he was asleep, this micro offer was doing the work for him. It was utilizing something that Tom created a long time ago to sell something, to then give this person value while Tom was sleeping. And he woke up to this guy actually wanted to be in the program, and he joined. And by the way, this continued on. This was like the next day. Big wins over the last few days. Also just sold enough micro offer sales, so that's free now. So it did continue at some sort of good rate. I don't know the conversion rate, but this system continued to work this week, and he managed to get 3. And if it goes anything like this, that could also be 3 core offer clients. And then a little bit more to go through. Jake. So this was the same day. Pretty sure this was the same day. Nice little win my end. Someone just bought my micro offer from my automated email system. So all he has to do is drive people into the ecosystem that I'm about to show you. He's selling this small micro offer for £20. And what Jake is doing is bundling it with a one-on-one call, right? So when most coaches are struggling to get calls booked, we're getting paid for them, right? So he got £20 micro offer. That shows that this person's willing to invest in solving the problem that Jake solves. And they've come through, they've bundled a one-to-one call, and he had a conversation with him. Second one this week now, he says, and then second one in 24 hours. So he had another one. And again, this guy wants to jump on for a call. And then I think this was this guy. I'm getting a bit mixed up in my own head now, but I'm pretty sure this guy that got the £20 micro offer that included a one-to-one call, he ended up signing up here, and everything else is blowing up for him, but that's kind of something different. But he ended up signing up, right? So again, automated system. does a lot of the value, because this was not just a call that they're paying for £20, it's also an asset that they're consuming that's showing value straight away. And he ended up signing up, and his day has been mental. That was last week. And this came through the specific workflow of new follower. They opted in straight to his VSL, which stands for video sales letter, added into this automated email sales system that we've created for him, bought a micro offer and call booked, all while he was asleep, and then ended up actually signing up. I think this one was before this one, but you get the picture. And finally, me. So once you start adding ads into the mix, this gets even sexier. So this was, I don't know when this was, but I created this board about 3 days ago or so. So this was probably 4 days ago. And then as you can see from like the 17th, this is about a 2 weeks, sorry, or maybe a little bit over 2 weeks. All of these automatic micro offers coming in while I'm literally not doing anything. Understand that this allows me to identify when all of these leads are coming through from my ads that I'm running. And you don't need ads for this, by the way, but eventually you've created a system that ads just makes you a lot of money from. When my ads are running and all of these leads are coming in, this allows me to identify the highest intent people that are willing to actually spend money with me to solve the problem, so I can go and speak to them and hopefully turn them into long-term clients. So, you know, like I said, this is not just theory. This is actually something that's working right now. Literally last week, genuinely, I just went through the WhatsApp group and just grabbed some screenshots from last week. Owen, Tom, Jake, killing it. Let's get into it. So how do we build a money-making machine? I've been talking fast. Let me have a little drink, and then we're going to get into this. You can have a little read while I drink. Step one, you need a great offer, right? So offer is everything in this game. Offer is, what are we selling? How are we positioning it? What's the unique angle? We're not going to go super deep into offer, but in my channel, there's loads and loads of stuff where we go super deep into offer. Understand though, with offer, you always start with the core offer first. Okay, we're going to get into why that is, but we always work backwards. That means core offer first, then micro offers, then lead magnets or some sort of free asset like that. And then that all informs our content, right? When you have a great offer, it also creates great messaging, because your messaging is based around your offer. Your messaging is basically giving context to your offer and all of the things inside your offer. So step one, we have to have a great offer. All right, I'm going to explain that. I'm going to explain what it means to work backwards in a second, because this is probably going to be the first big insight that you have in this video. But we need a great offer. If you don't have a great offer, after this video, go through the rest of my YouTube and you're going to see loads of videos on how to create a great offer. I might even put one in the description below. Step two, as we run that offer, we create assets that sell your offer manually or bring people in to be converted, right? So this starts off manually. We have to start off manually. We can't automate something that doesn't work yet, all right? We can't automate something that isn't already working. That's the wrong way around. So now we've got a great offer, we can start to create and use assets to sell our offer or bring people in to be converted. And then once we've found the most effective sales asset, we can then lock the asset into our ecosystem. And I'm going to show you every single part of this. Step four, we drive traffic to the asset. Step five, we profit. We have a good time. Just like these boys down there. So should we get into it? I've got something for every single one of these steps. Let's go. So number one, building backwards. This is like a little extra little nugget of information, but this is really, really important. So we always build backwards, because building backwards is where we have all of the answers. Let me explain what I mean. Most people go forwards. Most people want to build their business forwards through the journey that the lead would have to go through to get to them, because it kind of makes sense, right? So if someone's generally going to come through the content and they're going to see it, and then they're going to get a lead magnet, and then maybe if you're doing micro offers, they're going to purchase a small snippet of your program, so they're going to buy a micro offer and then they come through. Some people start thinking, well, that makes sense, they're going to go for it that way, so let me do it that way too. And it's very tempting, because it's actually easier to get quicker dopamine hits of what seems to be a win when we do it that way, right? Because if you put out some free thing, it's quite easy to get people grabbing it. The thing is, when we do it forwards, when we build out forwards, there is too many variables for us to know the answer to. What I mean by that is you can start to post content, and the worst thing in the world, not necessarily the worst thing, but something that's not useful that a lot of people do, and you may be doing this as you're watching this video, is thinking, I just want to build an audience first and then I'll monetize it. Terrible idea. Here's the reason why. Because you don't know what works yet, so you don't know what to talk about in content, because the content that you put out is going to build the audience that you have. If you don't know what you're going to be selling yet, or you don't know what actually works, because there's so many things that people want to sell, but it just genuinely doesn't work, you're going to be building the wrong audience, or you're not even going to know what to talk about. So you're going to be pretty stuck on content, right? So they do that, and then they think, okay, so I want to sell this, I want to sell some sort of core offer, I want to start some coaching business or something, and then they think, okay, I'm going to create a lead magnet and generate some leads first to then be able to sell this. Again, too many variables, because you don't know the core offer that actually works yet, because everything stems from the core offer. Everything here is a roadmap back to your core offer, right? So when you start to guess what people are going to want as the end goal, and you start to create lead magnets, you start to create free shit that gets people wanting, gets people that want free shit to get, but you're not actually so sure what it needs to be around to actually sell the core offer. Okay, and the same for micro offers. There's too many variables all the way along. So you could have good success here and good success here, but still be broke or still not making any money. So we want to do it the other way around. Everyone's got some sort of network, right? So we always create the core offer first. Your main program that you're going to be selling, we create that first, because your core offer is literally going to create your micro offer. Your micro offer then and your core offer together, and the messaging around it is going to create your VSL lead magnet, which is the video sales letter, but we also use it as a lead magnet. And all of this is going to inform your content and what your content needs to be. So we always build backwards. So first we have a core offer, we put it out there, we validate it. The way that we validate it is, are people actually paying for it? I don't care if people say it sounds good. If they're not paying you, then it's not good. So we put out the core offer, we put it out to your network, we start to create content around the core offer. So these two things do have to go hand in hand, of course. And then once that's selling and we're serving people and that core offer is working, we start to then be able to go down, take something out of the core offer, utilize that and use that as a micro offer, take something out of that, utilize that and use it as a lead magnet, and then everything keeps flying round in a flywheel. Okay, so build things backwards. This is just a little nugget, but it's around that core offer piece. Okay, so once we've built things backwards, we've got the core offer and it's working. And we know what we need to talk about now. We know the ideas that we need to sell in our content to get someone wanting to buy our core offer. We move on to step 2. So we've got this core offer, right? And it's working. We are doing great work in whatever capacity you're doing, by the way, whether it's a group program or one-to-one, or what I generally suggest is a multi-tier offer. So you have the same offer, solving the same problem, using the same process, but different tiers of access and intimacy so we can serve more people and you can have more leverage yourself. So we have this core offer that's working. Inside that core offer, you are going to be creating assets and resources for your clients to solve their problem. We already know that, right? That's what you're going to be doing. So we take these assets and these resources that you are going to be creating for clients, and we can take one out, the one that you realize that your clients need the most, the one that you realize the clients are loving and it's creating a huge impact for them, just this asset alone, and we take it out and we turn it into a micro offer. As I've already said, a micro offer is a small piece of your core offer that you sell for a small amount of money, right? It might be £100 to £50 if you're in like a business coaching niche, or it might be £9 to £50 if it's in some sort of more lifestyle, personal development style niche. Okay, so as we're already, this is all leverage, right? Because as we're already doing the work with clients, so we're not even needing to put our marketer hat on yet, and we're not even needing to think, what does the market want to see? We're getting all the answers in front of us because we've got these handful of core offer clients, and we're literally just creating for them. We're seeing their problems, we're seeing how they're perceiving things, and we're being able to create amazing assets for them. And if you're anything like me, that is your favorite place to be, creating cool shit for your clients. So we take a pre-made asset, just to read through this to make sure I've not missed anything out. We take a pre-made asset that is already getting your clients results, that's already been made in your workflow of creating stuff for clients, which you'll do anyway. By the way, if you're not creating anything for clients, you are doing all the heavy lifting yourself, and again, zero leverage. So the more that you can start to realize, oh, they always have this problem and I've always got this solution, let me create an asset for that. That gives you leverage there. And it also then gives you leverage with everything else we're talking about in the marketing and sales, which you're now seeing. So we take this pre-made asset that's already getting your clients results. We sell it to your audience for a small amount, and almost a no-brainer amount, right? We sell it though, right? Because we don't want to attract a load of people that want free shit. The act of simply putting their credit card details or debit card details into whatever checkout thing that you've got and actually paying for this shows that they are worth speaking to for you, because it doesn't take much for someone to just grab a free thing. It shows that they're actually willing to spend money to solve this problem, even if it's a tiny amount right now. And also, it allows us leverage, because if you're creating all this stuff for clients, all this amazing transformative stuff, and then you're just giving it away for free in your marketing, well, you're devaluing it for everyone, right? You're devaluing it for you, for your clients, and for the people that are getting it for free. Makes no sense. Most people do lead magnets and they have to go and create another thing separate to what they're doing for clients, and they lose all the leverage. So we sell the things we're already creating, okay? If you're selling by call, because you can sell off the back of this with a document, if you're already selling through a document like a lot of my clients do and I do as well. If you're selling by call, you would bundle this with a one-to-one call, because now you're not just trying to book in free sales calls with people that can just book them at any point and filling up your calendar. You're booking sales calls. They don't know it's a sales call yet, but you're booking calls with people that have literally paid for it, which means it's almost 100% show up rate, and they're so much more likely to actually become a client. And always, as you're doing this, understand how your niche like to consume, right? So my assets are always workshops, because the people that I sell to, coaches, consultants, creators, they are used to consuming a workshop or, you know, an online kind of Zoom call recording and stuff to actually get their information. If that's different in your niche, which sometimes it will be, you may want to change how you're putting these assets out there. And finally, understand here, you can test with multiple with leverage, because you're already creating this for clients anyway. So you don't have to go away and take time off of helping your clients and take time off of posting content and stuff to go and create some sort of asset and hope it works. You're already doing it in your workflow. Again, leverage, right? So this allows you to focus on delivery and end up creating sales assets at the same time, and end up creating loads because you're just doing it anyway and you're enjoying it. And again, there's so much decision making taken out because you're just serving the people in front of you and giving your clients an amazing experience, which is really, really important. So that's number 2, right? We create sales assets with leverage. Hopefully that makes sense. Then we come on to step 3. So let me just set the scene here. You've got this core offer, you've got these people in, you're creating assets for them because you understand their problems, because you're working with them, and you're creating assets to then solve that. And then you take that asset out, and that now becomes your micro offer that you can sell. We lock in the winning asset into an ecosystem, right? So I'm not going to go into it all in this video because it would end up being all over the place and a bit too long. But we would take this micro offer and we'd run a campaign around it, right? So we'd run a usually like 4 to 7 day campaign, selling to your audience and going and messaging people directly and letting them know if you want to get your hands dirty as well. And we'd usually put some sort of bonus on it as well, right? So maybe it's only available for those, 4 to 7 days. Or maybe if they buy it within that, there's a discount. Or maybe if they buy it within that, they get a one-to-one call bundled in with it, especially if you're selling by call, right? And you can actually do that quite frequently because you're creating stuff for clients anyway. This allows you to put more offers out to your audience, which are really, really important, by the way. When you're only offering the same core offer all of the time, people very, very quickly get bored and stop responding. But when we're able to offer multiple, smaller, different things, we're able to get a lot more hands raised and a lot more conversation started. So as you go through that, eventually you're going to find the winning asset, the one that you put out and it works on both sides, meaning people buy it and people want more from you once they've consumed it. Final thing to understand as well on how powerful this is. So often, as I've already said, me and a lot of my clients in all niches sell by document at the end of this. They don't even need a call Because when someone's bought this asset and they've actually tasted and experienced some of your coaching already, and it's solved a problem for them, and they've spent time with you digitally, even though you weren't there to actually give them your time, but you've created the asset. So often they've already made their decision that they want to work with you or that they don't, and it's easy to close them just on a Google Doc being sent over to them. So now that we've created sales assets with leverage, let's keep going. As I said, we find the winning asset, the one that works on being able to actually get people buying it, and then also the one that actually gets people wanting more. Because I've done this myself. It's quite easy to know what's going to sell on the front end, to create a micro offer that goes out and sells really well on the front end. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to turn into clients on the back end, right? And by the way, I differentiate customers and clients. Customers are the people that buy in the small products. Clients are the one in your core program paying you over a longer period of time and working with you closely. It's quite easy to create a micro offer that gets you customers but doesn't necessarily turn them into clients. Sometimes the better micro offer is the one that actually, it might not even get you as many customers, but there's way more people turning into clients on the back end, which is really what we're trying to find. So eventually you'll run that system, right? And eventually and during that time, you're making more sales anyway. You're making noise in the marketplace. You're able to put out different things and getting way more leads, even if they're not buying things, way more hands raised, because we're changing we're varying the things that we're able to put out and the things that people are able to say, yes, I want that too. Eventually we find the winning asset and we want to lock that into the ecosystem. So that looks like this. Let me show you. Let me zoom out. Wait a second. Why am I not zooming out? There we go. Okay, so we got the micro offer, right? That was there on its own, doing good things. The micro offer pretty much has two places that it can take people to, and this is up to you, right? You might have bundled it with a paid sales call. We don't tell them that it's called that, but it ends up being a paid sales call, right? So we bundle it with a one-on-one implementation call or whatever makes most sense. Usually if you're selling them something, let's say it is the no diet and you're a fitness coach and you've got a workshop that allows people to lose weight the no tracking diet, and you've got a workshop that works without teaching people to lose body fat without having to track their calories with a specific system and framework that you've created. You might have a one-to-one sales call where you might bundle it with a one-to-one call where you say that you're going to go through their diet and you're going to help them implement the no tracking diet system into their world. We don't missell them. We still solve that, right? But just the ability to be actually on a call with them one-on-one now after already consuming your thing, and then being able to just simply say, would you like more help with this? And then being able to take them to your core offer is enough to start to make sales. So they're not called paid sales calls and they're not sneaky either. They just end up making lots of sales. Or on the other hand, if you're selling via document, they might buy the micro offer, and then on the other side of that, somewhere along the lines, I would probably suggest that you still have a little conversation with them in the DMs or on email or something, and just like say, hey, why did you buy that? What's up? Blah, 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 blah. But you send them to a sales document for an acquisition offer or maybe the waitlist. So acquisition offer is going to be a short sprint inside your program, which is going to be the easiest thing. So let's say they bought something around fat loss. You might have like a 6-week sprint program that they can easily say yes to via the document, so they can come in, and then of course you want to keep them longer term after that. Or maybe if you're running open and closes, you might just get them on the waitlist, show them the document there, they can opt into the waitlist, and then you've got a waitlist building up that you can sell to when you open your doors, which is really, really good. Off the back of this, they go into what we call the sales rhythm via email. So even if they've bought this, right, even if they don't close on there, and not all of them will do, they're now in your ecosystem. They're on your email list where you can email them every single day. And just like back here, right, do you remember when we were making different micro offers? This can continue. And then they go into your sales rhythm where you're making more micro offers, which gives you another chance to actually sell them. But we lock this in, right? So this is all the stuff that was already existing. We can lock this into an ecosystem, your ecosystem, that starts to make sales all the time. So how I would usually suggest this, and there's loads of ways to go around this, but this is one way. This micro offer works. Cool, great. Let's say it's let's just take that one I used already, the no tracking diet. It's the no tracking diet framework that allows you to lose 2 pounds a week without having to track or use MyFitnessPal. Let's just say that, right? This works for any niche, but let's just say that. You would then create a lead magnet VSL So it is positioned like a lead magnet on the front end. So it's got a good hook that's saying how my clients are losing £2 a week without downloading how my clients have deleted MyFitnessPal. They're not tracking and still losing £2 per week effortlessly, right? That's the lead magnet hook. And then they put their email in. You're getting their email anyway. So even if nothing else happens, they still end up on the sales rhythm where you're making more offers to them. But in this is actually a VSL, which stands for Video Sales Letter, where you're showing the proof. You're showing how you discovered this methodology. You're showing them how the methodology works so well, but you're not giving them the entire framework. And then on that video, you say to them, if you want to grab the entire no tracking framework, no tracking diet workshop, and all of the templates and everything else, you can grab it here for £29. Boom. Once they've come through, again, they're on your email list, right? So we would create a 3 to 5 day customer creation email campaign that even if they don't buy it on that front end, over the next 3 to 5 days, you are giving them more reasons and more proof as to the no tracking diet working so well and how they can grab it, and giving them a bit of scarcity there as well. Okay. So if you were bundling this with a call, you might say that you can get a call if you buy it in the next 5 days. And this can be the thing that gives them that scarcity, because it's going to be conditional based on when they joined the list. Okay. So understand as well, more leverage coming in. If you've already done this, right, and you've been creating assets and you've been selling them, you've been doing that with a campaign anyway. So you've actually already got this. Once the micro offers worked, you've also had a customer creation campaign without knowing it that worked really well too. So you can actually just take the campaign that's already worked to your organic audience, and you can play around with a few of the things to make it fit the automation. And then you can have that as soon as someone opts in for this. So you've got all the chances over the next 3 to 5 days to sell that there. If they buy it, they've got these chances to become a client. And then even if not, they're on your email list, they're in your audience, and then you can continue to make offers for them there. So this is now locked into your ecosystem, right? That one micro offer that works really, really well. And generally, by the way, we're about to go a little bit deeper into things, but generally I would suggest this. Your offer wants to be created of unique ideas, such as the no tracking diet, right? Could be your unique idea. We call it a unique mechanism, right? You want to create these mechanisms that solve your specific market's problems better than anything else. And it's a different way to do it, and it's a desirable way to do it. And then you want to make that famous in your audience. You want to talk about it so much. You want to give it context. You want to show yourself using it. You want to show your clients using it to such great success that they will actually come to you and say that back. I really want to work with you because I know that I need the no tracking diet. I hate MyFitnessPal, blah, 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 blah. Right? So when that happens, this ecosystem just gets more strength because people are coming onto your page or wherever you're marketing, and they're seeing more about this thing. And then they see that they can learn about it for free with the lead magnet, and that you're going to get more and more clicks. So this just exists there now. You can continue to promote it. And again, just like these guys over here, eventually you've got this that works, and all you need to do is drive more people to it. So then as we come back, that's number 3, right? Lock it into the ecosystem. Number 4, now that we've got it in the ecosystem and it's working, and you know that it's always going to be slightly different, but let's say every 100 people in there, you're getting 10 customers, which would be a really good rate. And then out of that, a couple become clients, and you know that this thing works. Then we can start to drive traffic to this sales machine. So here's how this begins to look. We've got all of this stuff the same, right? None of this has to change, but we can start to drive traffic to it with all of these different channels. So number 1, partners and collaborations. This could be, for example, going into someone else's program that might be, if you're a fitness coach, it might be like a property mentorship or mastermind or something where, they want to also be fit and performing well and everything else. And you might share your unique mechanism. You might have a whole workshop to them around the unique mechanism, right? Or maybe this is a podcast. And you jump in on a podcast, and like I said, you've got all of these core ideas that you're able to make famous, and you're talking about, and you're becoming known for them. Think about like James Clear with Atomic Habits. You probably knew about Atomic Habits, and then you knew about James Clear. He had this unique idea. He had this idea that he made famous in the marketplace, And now people come to him for that. Or Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley, right? He rolled with this idea. I think you may have heard of him before or after, but he rolled with this idea of Key Person of Influence. He sells that as a program now. He sells it as a book, and the book leads to the program. There's one idea that's driving everything, right? So we want to create offers that have unique ideas that do the same thing. So then your partnerships or collaborations could be a podcast where you're naturally going to talk about your unique ideas, which, by the way, gets you more partnerships or collaborations because you're not just a generic coach in whatever, or creator in whatever field you're in, but you're actually bringing something new to the table. And then when they're interested in it, boom, they come straight to the lead magnet and they're in the system. Instagrams and socials, simple one. You're going to post about this stuff. You're going to be able to drive people to it consistently. They come in, and then again, they're in the email system. So even if they're not selling at that point, they're able to sell down the line. YouTube description. If you go to the description now, the top link that you will see is this. You will see this. You will see my version of it happening to you. It's in the YouTube description, and I can send traffic there through that. And finally, like I showed you wherever it is, like I showed you here for myself, the best one's paid ads. Well, they're all great, but paid ads, right? Once we've got a system that works, you can pay for traffic. And this is, I think, where people go wrong when it comes to ads. They look at ads as a whole separate piece of their business, and they think, I want to run ads now. And they think, what funnel shall I do for ads? And where should I send them? And what like resource shall I do on the front end? Or that should already be figured out before you even think about ads, right? We should get to this stage. And then ads is actually really easy because we're just setting something up to drive traffic to the thing that's already working. And it's really easy, and everything, like I said, is based on leverage. You're kind of doing it anyway as you're going through your workflow. And by the end, you can drive ads to it. And this can actually pay off the ads too. When you're sending them to this ecosystem and they're coming through and a selection of them are actually buying this, that micro offer, we're not trying to line our pockets with that micro offer money, by the way. We're trying to make our money from the back end. But this micro offer can actually be used as the thing to liquidate the ad cost. And if you're able to get the small micro offer paying off most or all of the ad cost, you can drive up the amount that you're putting into ads, especially if it's happening consistently. You can really drive up the amount that you're putting into ads without the risk of, are they going to sign up or not? Because you're not paying for the ads. The micro offer ends up paying for the ads anyway. And if they buy the micro offer, even though you're not really getting the money anymore, Mr. Zuckerberg is getting the money. Even though you're not getting the money, you're getting free ads, free traffic, and they're being sold to while they're consuming the micro offer because hopefully it's actually good, right? So all of these things are driving to this same ecosystem, and this creates a really nice workflow. And you can still create more of these as you're going through that workflow anyway, and you're running the sales with them. But this creates a really good workflow where people are coming through, and it's consistently turning new leads into customers and clients while you sleep or while you focus on doing more of this stuff. They come through, and it can also just be new opt-ins, right? New opt-ins to any list, because the beauty is you can do a different, maybe it is a lead magnet or something else, and you're getting opt-ins to your email list in some other way. You can still drive them to this 3 to 5 day customer creation campaign that's already been proven and it's already working. That can show them to the lead magnet that's already proving and it's already working. And again, that can sell them this. And if you want to get a little bit cheeky with it, and this is what I do, once this customer creation, and what my clients do and what I've given them, once this 3 to 5 day customer creation email campaign runs its course and it's come to the end, we then run a 10-day rapid conversion campaign, which sells them on this acquisition offer, if you remember that, right? So even if they don't buy this, maybe they want to go straight into it. You're getting all of these people coming through here, and then even if they don't buy this and they don't buy this and they don't actually see all of this, they're still finding their way into the sales rhythm where you're making consistent offers to them with the same thing that we've already been talking about. And you have a 10-day rapid conversion campaign to sign them up on your acquisition offer. They are the 4 steps. Step 5 is profit. Step 5 is then enjoy the fact that you've now got a business that is an actual streamlined machine based on leverage, that you've got a machine that all you now need to do is drive people into. You're still going to do the stuff organically too, because you're driving people into it, and it's actually still increasing your audience, your following, and your the amount of people that you've actually got to speak to. So your sales rhythm that you're going to consistently do, which was step 2, if you remember, is going to continue to only get more effective, but you've got a machine to drive more people into consistently. So you're not waking up anymore, not so sure what to do, and just kind of like creating one thing and then hoping it's effective, then creating the next thing and hoping it's effective. You're over time creating this thing that works, and you're able to keep driving people into it. That is everything. Hope this was useful. If it was, give me a like, comment, subscribe, or whatever. That would be cool. And check the links below.